Hi everybody! Today I wanted to make a special video talking about somebody pretty amazing. So, this video I'll give you a brief glimpse into who was Patrick Cowley. Patrick Cowley was an amazing and influential musician, electronic pioneer, queer icon, owner of the amazing Megatone records, and sadly one of the earliest and many victims to the AIDS epidemic. He helped pioneer electronic music in the early 80s and helped create the amazing genre known as HI-NRG. This video isn't meant to be a huge biography or having every detail ever, but more of an overview of this man and his work. Anyway, to begin, I want to start with an amazing quote by a fellow musician, David that I feel really describes Patrick Cowley well. Patrick Cowley forged an electronic sound so new and exciting that it shook the foundations of dance music for years and is still influencing current artists with its haunting simplicity and powerful driving energy. While many of his contemporaries in the field of electronic music use the technology to create synthesized replications of already existing sounds and rhythms, Patrick Cowley brought the future to them and laid it at their feet. Yeah, that definitely describes the man and his work very much. We are currently listening to his work. Hopefully it's not too loud or too quiet, but hopefully you can enjoy it too. This is more of his instrumental work for his soundtracks for the adult male film School Daze, and I think also Muscle Up. I'll quickly show you a little pamphlet for that to give you an idea of the kind of music he makes. Excellent stuff. So, Patrick Cowley was a quiet, independent workaholic with a huge passion for creating electronic music. He practically lived in the studio. It's been said that his life mainly consisted of music and bathing. So I think before we start really getting into Patrick, I think we need to discuss the amazing and very influential music genre known as high energy. So yes, what is high energy? Well, many people say it's gay disco music that was very popular between 1982 to 1988. The genre had many popular hits that even gained top spots on Billboard and crossed over into popular dance music scenes. It's usually characterized by its pounding BPM or beats per minute of 120 to 140, a lot of times at a specific range of 127. Pulsating bass lines, very tongue-in-cheek, sexual, homoerotic lyrics. And as such, it had a large cult following among LGBT clubgoers in the 80s. Some of the big names include Divine, Sylvester, Patrick Cowley, Dead or Alive, Taylor Dane. Even tracks like The Weather Girls, It's Raining Men could be considered high energy. To help give you an idea of the certain sound the genre tries to encompass, it kind of shares a lot of qualities of Italo disco. And the name allegedly came from an interview with artist Donna Summers on her song, I Feel Love. She said this song became a hit because it has high energy vibes. All in all, it was a very fun genre that definitely embodied LGBT visibility on the dance floor, and its influence can still be heard through EDM or many house, disco, electronic genres to this day. So, let's talk about our main man, Patrick Joseph Cowley. Again, who was Patrick Cowley? Well, he was born October 19th in 1950 in Buffalo, New York. Patrick had a love for music really early on. He was a drummer in many of the local bands. He studied English at the University of Buffalo before he moved out to the Bay Area in San Francisco, where he studied synthesizers at the City College of San Francisco. After moving out to the Bay Area, Patrick met fellow musician and future collaborator Sylvester in the late 1970s. Sylvester was a wonderful African-American LGBT star and a transvestite who was very successful in the gay disco community. Primarily active in the genres of disco, rhythm and blues, soul, he was known for his flamboyant, really androgynous appearance, falsetto singing voice, and hit disco singles in the late 1970s and 1980s. Patrick really helped Sylvester skyrocket to fame by playing synth on his 1978 album, Step 2. Soon after, Patrick was to join Sylvester on many, many world tours together, playing synthesizer for his band live. It was said to drive crowds into frenzy. Sylvester just really had a way with people and music. He was a really, really fantastic artist. If I had to describe a contemporary, again, maybe like Divine, maybe a bit of a classier African American version of Divine, but still, again, that high energy sound. Very excellent stuff. Robert Kingston of the bands that was on tour with Patrick and Sylvester said that they were really grateful to have Patrick touring with them, since synthesizer technology was so primitive, and yet Patrick was always patching and unpatching and working on finding new amazing sounds to play. He was just really obsessed with his synths and patchwork and just finding new sounds. I mean, just listening to the sound, it sounds so ahead of its time. And some people think that his work has not aged properly, or High Energy has it, but I don't believe that at all. It's still really excellent stuff, and a lot of stuff from the high energy genre. You just plug in 1 or 2 songs in your DJ mix, or you play it at a party, and people go crazy. Even I played this record at my New Year's party, and I had a lot of people asking what this was, or people really enjoyed it. I think it's excellent stuff, and more people need to listen to it. Alright, so sex was a thematic preoccupation for producer Patrick Cowley, reflecting the strong connection between disco and gay bathhouses in the late 1970s San Francisco. In 1978, Patrick recorded a 16-minute long extended remix version of the song I Feel Love, performed by Donna Summer. Then his great hit single was menergy, reaching the top of the charts at the end of October of 1981, as well as I Want to Take You Home. These first productions by Patrick were released at Fusion Records, but with Marty Bleckman as associate producer, and later was released as Megatone's first album. And with that, I think let's talk a little bit about Megatone Records. So, what was Megatone Records? Well, Megatone Records was an independent music label in San Francisco created and ran by Patrick and his partner, Marty Bleckman, in 1981. Many fellow high-energy artists were on the label, including Sylvester, Jeannie Tracy, Sarah Dash, and Paul Parker. The label brought many high-energy singles to the mainstream and to the top of the charts, with tracks such as All I Need by Sylvester and Paul Parker's Right on Target, which Right on Target made #1 on the Billboard dance chart, which is very impressive. The label definitely helped bring high energy into the popular mainstream. After Cowley's unfortunate death in 1982, Bleckman was head of the label until he too died of 1991, also due to complications from AIDS. In 1992, the label was run by John Hedges and Terrence Brown, which unfortunately I couldn't find too much information on who these gentlemen were. Until the label closed down in 1995 and the back catalog was sold to Unidisc Music. They also had a competitor or contemporary label at the same time called Moby Dick Records, which also sold a lot of excellent disco, high-energy singles and tracks. But unfortunately, they also had to close, I believe, about 1987 or 89, when most of their staff unfortunately also died to the AIDS epidemic. Well, Patrick had many more hits, including a collab with Sylvester that made #4 on the charts called Do You Wanna Funk, which is a very excellent track. All these tracks are very excellent. I definitely suggest checking them out. He also has a lot of instrumental work, including what we are listening to now, work dating from 1973 to 1981, and usually Crawley would give these tracks to gay porn production company Fox Studio, the majority finding their way onto films such as School Daze and Muscle Up. And on a side note, these were male adult pornography films. I can't pronounce pornography today. Maybe that's a good thing. They're really fun. I mean, obviously you have to be interested in adult male films, but they eschew what made pornography great in the late 70s and 80s. They're excellent. Fox Studios put out such campy, great stuff. The lighting, the actors, cinematography, it's beautiful, and it encapsulates so much of that time. And you know what? It's true. The song Menergy definitely describes it well. There's definitely some menergy in those films. It's pretty beautiful, and I definitely suggest it if you're interested in that kind of thing. You will not be disappointed. It's really good stuff. All right. As an independent producer, Patrick Cowley counted on excellent singers such as Lauren Carter, Joe Carroll, Block, and Carol McMacken. The three of them sang on HI-NRG. Then they sang all of the songs after that on tracks such as Megatron Man and on the Megatron Man album. They also sang at Patrick at the Audemars studio during his Mind Warp production, which was his final album that he made while he was slowly dying due to complications to AIDS. Again, Mind Warp was Cowley's last album. He had become very sick while on tour with Sylvester for many years. He constantly kept going to doctors, but because unfortunately not a lot was known about AIDS back then, they didn't even call it AIDS then. They kept saying maybe he had a stomach flu, maybe a virus. They kind of just brushed it off, and slowly he got sick. And then Patrick Cowley passed away in his home on November 12, 1982, at the very young age of 32. That day, the scene lost the father of HI-NRG and a great friend that everybody close to him loved. People always talked about how such a loss he was and how he's just an amazing, quiet, strong, independent worker. It's brought such joy and influence to everybody. However, his legacy definitely lives on now, more than ever, through labels like Dark Entry, who are also located in San Francisco. And I don't know if it's on purpose or I'm just crazy, but I was looking the other night, and it looks like the logo for Dark Entries. I wonder if I can find it. Hold on. Yeah. This logo right here, it looks a lot like the original Megatone Records logo. I wonder if they're influenced by that. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised, and I would think that's very cool of them. Yeah, so Dark Entries, other labels, and people are finally noticing Patrick Cowley's amazing influence. And I think it's interesting to note, too, sorry, phone messed up a bit. I do think it's interesting to note, too, that on Patrick Cowley's gravestone, it literally says on it, his music will live on, and that's true. His influence and music will always live on. Many artists, such as Pet Shop Boys or even New Order, say that he's a huge, huge influence on them. And you can definitely notice his influence on many things. It's pretty obvious. All right. So, on a more less somber note, let's talk a little bit about his discography. He has a huge discography, and I can't discuss too much of it now, nor do I want to. It's definitely something you should experience and check out for yourself. So he has 4 major albums or studio albums, and he has over 30 singles and EPs and around 10 compilations. One of them we're listening to now. A lot of stuff. So his first album is the legendary HI-NRG album with hits like HI-NRG, X Factor. They came out on Fusion Records before he made his own label, Megatone. His second album was Megatron Man, thus where he gets the name Megatone for his label. And it had lots of other singles like Sea Hunt and Megatron Man. I mean, these were such high-energy classics. They're really fun, really excellent, strong electro, disco, fun, hypersexual music, but it's so tongue-in-cheek too and campy. It's really, really fun. His third album was a collab with Jorge Sicaros. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And I apologize for any pronunciation in this video. I'm not very good with pronunciation or names. And that album, or collab, was called Catholic. Again, another amazing electric album with amazing tracks that I really love, like You Laugh at My Face and I Never Want to Fall in Love. And then his final album, Mind Warp, which he made while still being in a wheelchair and being extremely sick. A very ominous album about his slow, unfortunate death. It's a lot like how Derek Jarman made the movie Blue while he had become blind already due to AIDS. And it's kind of like a reflection on him and his life and his illness. It's a lot like that. Similar things. Very sad. It has great tracks on it. Like They Came at Night, Technological Worlds, Mind Warp. It's really, really great. It would take me forever to discuss all his singles and EPs, but there's a lot of stuff to check out, and I personally enjoy his instrumental music for adult films like we're listening to now. So, without further ado, let's show some of these. These both came out in Dark Entries. This is the one we're listening to now. This is School Daze, as you can see. I actually got, this was also from Dark Entries. I got this as a gift, because everybody knows my love for Patrick Cowley. And from Dark Entries came with this very nice little pin. I think that's really beautiful. That's kind of how I feel listening to this man's tunes. I love this stuff. I listen to it all the time. This really great electronic instrumental music. Yeah, so again, this is a double LP. This is a lot of his instrumental work for the adult films School Daze and Muscle Up. So I tried to censor the gatefolds as best as I could for these videos. So beautiful gatefolds. The man behind the menergy. Yeah, so you can take kind of a glimpse into the kind of movies they are. I really tried hard. Here's the back. Lots of information on him. Very, very good job. Dark Entries, I love them. One of my favorite labels. They do such a good job on everything. This also came in that LP, which I think is very cool. Kind of a promotional thing for School Daze. From Fox Studios, starring Tom LeDuc. Ooh, look at this dude. And I have one more. This is another compilation of more adult film scores. This is Patrick Cowley's Afternoons. He was very cutie. I love seeing pictures of him. He reminds me of my old babysitter, and I love it. This is a great picture they used for the back. Oh man, I love that. Let's see. I tried to censor. There's a lot here too to censor. Another crazy gatefold. More Fox Studios. I think this retracts also from Hot Beach, Muscle Up, and Hot Shot. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. Let's see, those records, they're on black, but the labels are very cool, very pretty. A little campy, little 70s, great. Or I should say 80s. Yeah, look at that. This is also a double LP with lots of great stuff. The School Daze one that we're listening to. Again, double LP on black. I like the labels on that a lot. Very pretty. They definitely did him justice with these great reissues or just compilations. Alright. So, there's so much more to learn. The San Francisco, even LGBT scene with Harvey Milk and all of that is such a story in itself, and it's very important to understand. And it's very important to understand how much it's just such a reflection of how little people know about diseases or what's going on, and how much it reflects in people's lives. Knowledge is power, and it really helps people and can save a lot of lives, I guess, is the take from all this. And also, HI-NRG is an amazing genre. So I want to end this on another quote. It's a bit melancholic, but I really love this, and I think it's a great way to close this. So there's an interview with Patrick Cowley's old roommate, Francesca Rosa, and she has a story herself just to tell about what it's like to live with him, like how he was a neat freak and how he was always fighting with the cockroaches in any apartment he lived in, and really great stuff. Definitely look more into him. In a 2009 interview, she goes on to say, "It's been over 25 years since Patrick died. I still live in San Francisco, and sometimes I'll be walking down the street or walking by a club somewhere, and I'll hear some Sylvester song coming off a car speaker or something, all that Cowley synthesizer joyously blasting and rolling away, and I'll think, there's my old roommate again." Alright, thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I hope you all have a good day.